Hi there, me here again. I know it's been a while. Me and the kids have had the flu, so I do apologise for that if you were waiting for a video to drop. But we're back here for the third in the three-part series about the term woke. So let's dive right in. So we need to talk about something, and it's pretty uncomfortable. Something that everybody sees, something that everybody feels, but almost nobody wants to say out loud. So a lot of what we call activism today isn't really activism. It's theatre, it's performance, it's competition for moral superiority. And the worst part, we're all participating in it, even the people who swear that they're above it. So today's episode is called The Morality Trap. How modern movements, online communities and political groups demand purity, punish curiosity and reward moral theatre instead of meaningful change. So in this cultural moment, it's not enough to just care about justice. You've got to prove it constantly to everybody. So we've created a moral economy where you've got to display the right opinions, use the right vocabulary, signal the right identity, condemn the right enemies, cancel them, and show public loyalty to the right causes. And if you don't, you're out. Not because you're unethical, but because you're not visible enough. This isn't just the left, it isn't just the right. It's human psychology, and it seems to be on steroids at the minute. Social media didn't create virtue signaling, it industrialized it. So let's get brutally honest here. Most people aren't performing morality because they're deeply ethical. They're performing morality because they're scared. Being misunderstood, being mislabeled, being cancelled, being exited from their group and their social families. So they overcompensate. They perform certainty. They overstate purity. They police others to avoid being policed themselves. And this is why the loudest moral voices online, they sound the most fragile, because they are. Fear masquerading as righteousness is one of the most dangerous forces in society. Every movement begins with real values, but the moment identity and purity become more important than outcomes, the movement stops growing and starts purging. Suddenly, the enemy isn't the system, and then the enemy is the person in your own group who isn't perfect. You get ideological purity tests, infighting, you're not really one of us, you're not an ally, circular firing squads, communities cannibalizing their own members. And this happens everywhere because of progressive activism in feminist spaces, in vegan activism, in religious communities. It's happening all over the place, all of the time. It's even happening in far right groups, those groups that seem to be the ones that are agreeing with one another the most, and scientific circles. So once purity becomes the currency, nobody is ever pure enough, except the people who enjoy feeling powerful by policing everyone else. And it's the case where everything just becomes a competition to be the most extreme in those views and in their actions. So this is where the morality trap becomes deadly. When a movement starts valuing purity over truth, nuance looks suspicious, asking questions becomes problematic, doubting a claim becomes violence, wanting context becomes oppressive, changing your mind becomes disloyal. So curiosity, caution, healthy debate, willingness to learn, all punished. If your belonging depends on certainty, then uncertainty becomes a sin. You stop thinking, you stop engaging, you say whatever keeps you safe. That's not morality, that's performative obedience. So let's be honest here. We've turned outrage into a sport. We refresh timelines to see who's been dragged today. We all enjoy it. It's kind of titillating, isn't it? You turn it on, who's getting slagged off today, who's the one that's being targeted for cancellation. We screenshot, we share, and we judge. We get dopamine hit every time someone worse than us gets punished. It's entertainment disguised as ethics. And the platforms reward it because outrage spreads faster, keeps us scrolling longer, creates more content, generates more revenue. So the system amplifies the most extreme, the angriest, the most dramatic, the most uncompromising, the most polarizing. Thoughtful voices die in the algorithm. Performers thrive. No wonder everything feels kind of hysterical at the minute, doesn't it? And this is the part that will make some people feel uncomfortable. A lot of moral policing has nothing to do with ethics. It's about status, it's about dominance, it's about social capital, it's about fear of irrelevance, it's boredom, addiction to conflict, or just the thrill of punishing people. Some people use morality the same way bullies use violence, to feel powerful. And they get away with it because they've wrapped their behaviour in the language of justice. That's why movements fracture, not because they're wrong, but because they let their worst impulses masquerade as virtue. So this is the darkest part of the morality trap. Moral certainty feels righteous, but righteous certainty often becomes violent. So think about how people talk online, destroy them, they need their careers ruined, make sure they never work again, expose them, punish them. You hear these phrases in every ideological camp. When people believe they're morally pure, they justify almost anything. And that's how communities built on justice end up replicating cruelty. That's how movements built on equality end up enforcing conformity. That's how activism turns into authoritarianism. If your ethics require destroying people, something has gone very wrong. So just think about recently that the assassination of Charlie Kirk, how in America it became normal for people to call for the heads of other people that weren't feeling absolute sorrow at his death. And it became sort of a public witch hunt for those people that didn't agree. And the same works in the opposite way. People who, on the left, perhaps, are saying things that don't align with leftist values. They become the target for this kind of online bullying and reputation tarnishing. And that's a real problem. So how do we escape this morality trap? We grow up. We move from moral absolutism to moral agency. We move from fear-based signalling to courage-based thinking. We move from purity to principles. We move from outrage to accountability. We move from certainty to curiosity. So mature ethics says, I can be wrong, I can learn, I can disagree without destroying you, I can care deeply and still ask questions. I don't need to perform goodness, I need to practice it. This is the real revolution, not louder moral demands, but deeper moral intelligence. Look, I get it. We all want to be good people. We all want to be on the right side of history. We all want to be the noble rebels in Star Wars and not on the side of Darth Vader. We want to feel like we belong, and we want to feel like that we, according to our own values, are doing the right thing. But if belonging requires blind obedience, if goodness requires public performance, If morality requires violence, it isn't morality anymore. It's theatre, it's fear, it's control. So here's the challenge for all of us, and that includes me. I'm not exempt from this. I do the same thing. I want to be part of a team. But do you want to be seen as good, or do you actually want to do good? Because these two things are becoming very, very different. So in the next episode, we're going to be looking at modern feminism, what they call the fourth wave, I suppose now, and what really constitutes feminism in today's society. What does it look like? Who gets to define it? And are modern celebrities that are flashing the bits, are they considered a feminist? So I'm going to be unpicking that in the next 3-part episodes, and to really reclaim this term feminism from something that's becoming really degraded in this kind of bipartisan. Well, it's not even polarized. It's not bipartisan at all. It's very polarized in the way that it's being framed at the minute by certain sectors of society. So that's coming up next time. And that's it from me. We will see you soon. Take care, and also Merry Christmas if I don't get to do one before Christmas. Great to see you all. Bye bye.